A long time ago in the village of Akia, there was a maiden named Amma who was the first daughter of Chief Adu. Unlike her younger sister, Ajua, Amma had no friends or suitors. No one wanted to be associated with her because of her bow head. Even her parents disliked her and cherished her younger sister. Right from her childhood days, Amma's mother preferred to lock her in whenever she had an outing to attend. During various village festivals, Amma's parents would buy new attires for everyone in their household except Amma. Her father would say, "With what head would you show off these beautiful clothes and beads? Amma, just stay home and feed the goats." Amma grew up in a community that hated her for a condition that wasn't her fault. This condition, known as alopecia in the modern world, made the villagers see her as a curse and avoid her at all costs. They believed that her baldness was a sign of bad luck and that anyone who associated with her would suffer the same fate. Wherever she went in the village, people would mock her. "She's so ugly, she must be a witch. She sucks blood for survival," they would say. These and more horrible words were said to Amma by the villagers. Amma grew up with a damaged self-esteem. She was unloved, so she had no love to give. The only good thing that gave her peace was her voice. Oh, her singing was like that of a diva. Whenever she felt sad or hurt by the mockery from the people, Amma would quietly find a spot near the Ayoko tree and sing her heart out. Her voice was like a sweet melody, enchanting and captivating. Whenever she sang, the birds would stop chirping and the wind would cease to blow as if in awe of her talent. Sometimes a few curious children would sneak closer to listen, but they would run away before Amma noticed. But unfortunately, even her beautiful voice couldn't earn her the love and acceptance of her fellow villagers. Even the adults in the village would avoid her as if her condition was contagious. Amma longed to have friends and be accepted by her peers. She dreamed of one day finding true love and starting a family, but she knew that this would never be possible with her current appearance. So, she made a decision. She would pack her things and head to another village to start a new life away from this group of people that hated her. It sounded so much like a good idea to her, and she immediately went into the house to start packing. Little did she know what was about to happen to her. Late into the night, Amma started heading towards the forest to begin her journey. She trekked for long hours, and at a point she needed to stop and rest. In the forest, she was about to take a seat on the ground when she noticed a hut. Happily, she approached the hut with the thought of resting a little in it, till dawn, unknowing to Amma that the old popular and powerful witch who lived on the outskirts of the village owned this hut. As she opened the door, the witch peered out at Amma with her piercing eyes. "What do you want, child?" the witch asked. Amma was startled and almost lost her balance. She immediately recognized the witch because of her green eyes and yellow lips. Her father had told her scary tales of the witch when she was young. Amma quivered with fear and remembered her father's words. The witch was known to have powerful magic and was rumored to be able to grant any wish. Her father had told her this. There and then, Amma decided that the heavens had sent her a solution to all her problems. She thought to herself, maybe she will grant my wish of having hair. I can finally have suitors. I will become beautiful. This and more thoughts crept into Amma's mind. Her fear disappeared, and she had a big, happy face. The witch asked in a croaky voice again, "What do you need from me, child?" Amma instantly explained her wish to the witch begging for her to help make hair grow on her head. The witch nodded and told Amma that she could grant her wish, but there would be a price to pay. Desperate to change her appearance, Amma agreed without hesitation. The witch handed Amma a potion and told her to drink it before the next sunrise. Amma decided to head back home since her story was about to change for the better. So she journeyed back to the village, and at dawn she reached home safely. Quickly, Amma drank the potion, then went to bed with a sense of excitement and anticipation. The next morning, Amma woke up and ran to the mirror, hoping to see a head full of beautiful hair. But to her horror, she saw that her hair had grown, but it was long and stringy, and it looked more like vines than hair. Filled with regret, Amma went to confront the witch. But when she reached the witch's hut, she found that the witch was gone, leaving behind only a note that read, "I am the key to unlock your heart. Embracing flaws is where I start. In loving myself, I find the key to true happiness and being free." Amma soon discovered that her new hair had a life of its own. It would move and writhe like snakes. The villagers were now even more afraid of her and avoided her even more. They thought she had become a monster. Even Amma's parents were also terrified of her and refused to let her into their home. She was forced to live in a small abandoned cottage at the edge of the village. She would spend her days in loneliness and despair, regretting her decision to seek the witch's help. At night, her hair would glow faintly, casting eerie shadows in her small, rundown home. She would often sit by a dimly lit oil lamp, tracing the words of the witch's note and wondering how she could ever find peace again. Years went by, and Amma's hair continued to grow longer and more uncontrollable. She became known as the witch's cursed girl, and no one dared to come near her. Her house was on the outskirts of the village, surrounded by wildflowers and towering trees, making her isolation even more pronounced. Until one fortunate morning, a handsome musician called Kwame visited Amma's village to perform at festivals. After his performance, he decided to visit the popular Amma and see her vine-like hair for himself. On getting to her house, he knocked on Amma's door. Amma was shocked to know someone was in the compound, and with so much confusion, she asked what might that be, animal or human. Kwame answered, saying, "My name is Kwame. Please, may I come in?" Amma rushed outside with her vine-like hair swaying behind her. She was immediately shocked to see a very handsome and elegant-looking man before her, his smile radiant like the morning sun. She asked why he had come to see her, and Kwame explained he had heard so much about her and wanted to see her in person. He said he found her fascinating and even more beautiful than it was told, and so their friendship began. Kwame would come almost every day to see Amma, often bringing his guitar to play soothing melodies for her. Amma, in turn, would always prepare delicious meals before his arrival. This went on for months before one afternoon, on one of Kwame's visits, feeling close enough to Amma, Kwame decided to encourage her to embrace herself. He told her how beautiful she looked and how anyone would be so lucky to be her friend. Amma laughed out loud. Amma laughed out loud and said, "Kwame, you don't have to lie. Why would anyone like a tree-headed person like me?" Kwame replied, saying, "Anyone would like a tree head because it is your tree head, Amma. Tree heads look charming because it is on you, Amma. Anything Amma has is just perfect." With tears rolling down her face, Amma was filled with so much emotion because no one had ever said such beautiful words to her, not even her parents. After they had this conversation, Kwame and Amma headed into the village. Immediately, the villagers saw her and they started whispering and gossiping as usual. "What is the witch doing here?" some said. Amma heard their mean words and wanted to run back to her house, but Kwame held her and encouraged her to keep walking. "You have to face your fears," Kwame said to Amma. "For how long will you keep hiding in the forest? Let it end today, and don't worry, I will hold your hand through it all." With these words of motivation, Amma gained the confidence to keep walking, and before she knew it, they had visited every corner of the village and even went to the market to get food ingredients. They returned to Amma's house and prepared pounded yam and vegetable soup. They enjoyed the hot meal under the beautiful night sky, the stars twinkling above them like diamonds. After their meal, she thanked Kwame for helping her overcome this fear. For weeks, they kept going into the village together, with Amma feeling less and less ashamed of herself. One morning, Kwame came around to go into the village with Amma, like they usually did, but Amma stopped him and said, "I would like to go into the village alone today." Kwame was so happy to hear this and promised her he would prepare the best Aussie soup for her before she got back. Amma walked into the village with so much confidence. She greeted the gossips, visited the village square, and planted her vine-like hair with so much pride. The marketplace was bustling with energy, and she even stopped to chat with a trader selling colorful beads. Before returning to her house, she stopped by the market to get her friend Kwame a new Ankara fabric. She felt so free for the first time in her life. She felt light and happy. She felt light and happy. She wondered why she hadn't seen the beauty in her situation before. Kwame, she thought, must be an angel sent by God, Amma said to herself, giggling hard. She returned to her house on the outskirts of the village, and as promised, Kwame had prepared a big bowl of delicious Aussie soup. As she sat down to eat, she told Kwame about everything that happened in the village. They both laughed at each other's jokes and ended their meal with a glass of palm wine. The following morning, Amma had a dream. In the dream, she saw the note the witch had left her. "I am the key to unlock your heart. Embracing flaws is where I start. In loving myself, I find the key to true happiness and being free." She was confused before something suddenly clicked. I was being punished for not loving myself. There is beauty in being different and unique, but by not loving myself for being bald, I was given a worse look. Amma vowed after this to embrace her uniqueness. She analyzed and understood the witch's note to her. She went to get a bathing sponge when she suddenly gazed at the mirror. She screamed after seeing that her head was back to being bald. "I solved the riddle! I solved the riddle!" she screamed happily. Amma's bald head had returned because she finally accepted herself for who she was. With the help of her friend, Kwame, the spell was broken with self. Love was broken with self. Love. Later that evening, Kwame visited Amma as usual. Amma, with her heart full of joy, was so delighted to tell him she solved the riddle. Immediately Kwame saw her, he noticed her bald head. He hugged her tightly with a big smile and then kissed her so passionately. Amma looked at him with so much shock in her eyes. The story of Amma teaches us a valuable lesson. Self-acceptance and self-love are the keys to true happiness. Throughout her journey, Amma struggled with her identity and sought external solutions to feel accepted. However, the turning point in her life came when she embraced her uniqueness, understanding that being different is not a curse but a beautiful gift. Her story reminds us that our flaws do not define us, instead, they make us unique and special. The unconditional support from Kwame also highlights the importance of genuine friendship and encouragement in helping others recognize their worth. Let us remember to be kind not only to ourselves, but also to others, as everyone is fighting battles we may not see. Thank you for watching my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring and thought-provoking content. Stay tuned for more interesting videos on this channel. See you next time. It is often said that a mother's love for her daughter is a silent guardian, always watching over her well-being, guiding her through life's storms. Is that the case in Auntie D's story? Let's find out. Darlene, popularly called Auntie D, is the owner of a well-known restaurant in the vibrant city. The restaurant had a vibrant signboard that read Did's Delight and had wooden chairs and tables arranged neatly for customers. She was a mother of 3 daughters and ran this restaurant, D's Delight, which was famous for its mouth-watering dishes and assorted meats. 2 of her daughters, Mabel and Clara, had finished their secondary school, while Ruth, who is the youngest, was still in secondary school. The restaurant was the family's sole source of income, and Auntie D left no stone unturned in making sure her customers were always satisfied. The restaurant was always opened from morning till night, with the aromatic smell of grilled meat and spices wafting through the air, providing services from breakfast to dinner. To keep her business thriving, Auntie D resorted to a variety of tactics, the most notorious of which was her special service, as she always called it, that attracted numerous male customers. Men frequented her restaurant not only for the delicious meals, but also for the chance to spend the night with either of her elder daughters for a price. This secret service provided the family with substantial additional income, and Auntie D was very strict with her daughters about it. At first, when the daughters finished secondary school, they weren't happy with what their mom was introducing them to. And they told their mom, we don't like this. We want to go to school. My sister wants to be a lawyer, and I want to be a medical doctor. Now that we are through with school, we want to go to the university. Auntie D would always shout at her daughters, saying, how can you say you want to go to the university? I have tried my best in training you down to secondary school level. Is this not selfishness? You want me to keep spending money on your education when your father, who is supposed to be taking care of you, ran away when you were just 10 years old? I have tried my best. You are through with secondary school, so now is the time for you to start supporting my business. The eldest daughter would say to her mom, Mama, we can support your business by helping you cook and serve customers, not selling our bodies for money. Auntie D would not give an ear to that at all. It got to a time where she started starving her daughters at home because they refused to succumb to her request of satisfying her male customers. Because they didn't want to be stubborn children or go against their mother's requests, they decided to do exactly what their mother said. Auntie D started using her daughters as business tools, counting money every morning in her small bedroom that had a single old chest for storing cash, because whenever the daughters returned from the male customers' houses, they always came back with huge amounts of money. She counted this money with so much joy, forgetting the dangers she was putting her daughters through or the possible sickness or disease the daughters were likely to get. Dear viewers, are there really mothers like this? Have you heard a story or come across a mother like this? Well, let's keep listening to this story. Most people believe the success of Auntie D's delight was due to the exquisite food she made, unaware that the daughters' nightly company played a significant role. The daughters, appearing to relish their interactions with the customers every night, sometimes encouraged them to drink excessively and then took advantage of their intoxicated states to steal from them. Auntie D always encouraged her daughters to keep doing what they were doing. She always praised them. Ah, these are my daughters. You are making so much money for your mother. Don't worry. Tomorrow I will buy you beautiful clothes, beautiful and attractive ones. And I'll buy you some more hair and makeup so you can look more attractive. Thank you, my daughters. Can't you see we are making so much money? You know your mother will not deceive you. We are making money, and that is all that matters. The children would reluctantly nod in agreement to what their mother was saying, and they continued this lifestyle for a very long time, forgetting the fact that they wanted to go to school. Ruth, the youngest daughter of Auntie D, saw everything going on, and she said to her sisters, "Sisters, I don't like this lifestyle you people are living. No, I'm not going to do this when I'm done with secondary school." Not knowing her mother overheard what Ruth was saying. She shouted from the background, "Will you keep quiet? What do you mean by you don't like what they are doing? The money you have been feeding with and wearing good clothes with, you think I'm picking the money from the ground? Finish your secondary school and join your sisters. I don't have daughters for nothing. You have to work for the money." Ruth said, "Mama, I don't think I'm going to do this." Auntie D yelled at Ruth, and she yelled at Ruth, and she angrily left the house that evening. One evening, while Auntie D and her daughters were attending to customers, a luxurious car parked in front of the restaurant, its shiny black paint reflecting the city lights. Auntie D and her daughters were astonished. Auntie D and her daughters were astonished. They had never seen such a wealthy customer before. A man in his mid-50s stepped out of the car, dressed in an expensive suit, and Auntie D wondered if he was lost. To her surprise, he walked in and requested a menu. Auntie D quietly said to her daughter, "This man seems very wealthy. Opportunities like this are rare. Do whatever it takes to make him want to stay with you tonight. If he becomes a regular customer, we will make a lot of money." Her daughter responded with a smile, "Don't worry, Mama. I've got this under control. He will be captivated by me," Clara assured her mother. Clara prepared the food with a confident smile, sprinkling some extra spices she reserved for special customers. She served the man, "Here is your order, sir. And there's something extra that can help with digestion if you are interested," Clara said softly. Fleur said softly, flirting. The man focused more on her than the food. The man ate his meal, and after the meal, he approached Auntie D and her daughters to settle the bill. He handed Clara a generous sum of money. "I know this is more than what I owe, but consider it a token of appreciating your beauty. I will come back tomorrow. Then I will take the extra digestion you said." Clara understood with a smile and responded to the man, "Don't worry, sir. I'll be here tomorrow night, waiting for you." Auntie D was very excited about the huge amount of money this customer gave to Clara, and she said to Clara, "Ah, Clara, you have to make sure you work hard when you follow him home tomorrow." "This customer is rich," Clara said. "Mama, don't worry. You know I always make you proud." The next day, Clara was feeling an unease in her spirit, and she said to her mother, "Mama, I don't think I will follow that man home this night. I'm having an uneasy feeling about him." "Don't worry, Mama. Maybe some other time I'll follow another customer," Auntie D yelled back at Clara. "You dare not say that. Ever since we started this business, this is the richest customer so far. How can you say you don't want to follow him this night when he comes?" "Clara, I don't want to hear that. You better follow the man when he comes back." Claire responded, "Mama, please. Anytime I think of the man coming to pick me this evening, my spirit is always not accepting it. My heart is always skipping. Let's just let go of this man." Auntie D was not ready to listen to whatever her daughter was saying, and she said, "Clara, you must follow this man, and that is final." Because Clara wanted to respect her mother as usual, she reluctantly agreed to follow the man. That evening, the elderly man arrived with his luxurious car as usual, and he went straight to Auntie D, addressing her directly. "I would like to spend some days in my house with your daughter." Auntie D was like, "Days? That will cost you a lot of money." And the man said, "No problem. I have the money. I will pay as much as you want and even more." Auntie D, upon hearing that, agreed to his bidding without thinking twice. Who was this mysterious man? Was Clara's life in danger? Auntie D did not think of any of that. She pushed her daughter Clara into the man's car, telling her to make sure she behaves very well so they can get more money, and the man left with Clara. Auntie D did not suspect anything because the man already told her that Clara was going to be spending a lot of days with him. The next day, Mabel, Auntie D's other daughter, walked up to her mother and said, "Mama, did you bother to call Clara to know if she arrived well or if she's okay where she is?" Auntie D replied, "Don't worry, Mabel. The man will take care of her." Mabel said to her mother, "Mama, I think I'm pregnant. Please, Mama, what do I do?" Auntie D said, "What? You can't say that. How can you be pregnant? How are we going to make more money if you get pregnant? How are we going to make more money if you get pregnant? My friend, you better look for what to do with that. Don't tell me that kind of thing again." And she chased Mabel out of her presence, asking her to do whatever it takes to make sure they make more money, not getting pregnant. A few days later, Auntie D was sitting in her restaurant when she received a call from a stranger that her daughter, Mabel, was at the hospital and that she should run along to the hospital. When Auntie D got to the hospital, she saw her daughter's lifeless body lying on the floor, and she asked the doctor, "Doctor, what happened to my daughter?" The doctor responded, "Madam, she attempted to get rid of a pregnancy, and this is what the result turned out to be." Auntie D started crying. "Oh no, I have led my daughter into killing herself. What do I do?" Just as she was walking out of the hospital, she saw where a crowd had gathered. She wondered why the crowd was there. As she walked to the crowd to see what was going on, she saw her daughter's body, Clara, also on the floor. The crowd said a car came to drop Clara's lifeless body on the floor, that they had used Clara for ritual purposes. Auntie D was shattered. She was heartbroken. She had lost her 2 daughters in one day. She cried uncontrollably and blamed herself for everything. She said, "Oh no, I have killed my daughters with my own hands. Oh no! She kept on crying. That was when it dawned on Auntie D that she had made a very big mistake. She said, I have failed my daughters as a mother. All I wanted was for them to have the best life, to have enough money. All the money they've been giving to me, I've been saving it for them. I guess I chose the wrong decision by sending them out. Oh no! And she cried. Ruth, the last daughter, upon hearing what had happened, was very angry with her mother. She said to her, Mama, I told you we don't need to sell ourselves. There are better ways to succeed, she said, and Auntie D apologized to Ruth. Please forgive me, my daughter. Everything I did was for you and your sisters. I didn't know it would turn out like this. And Auntie D closed down her restaurant completely and looked for other ways she could make money. After losing her two daughters, she wasn't ready to continue with that line of business again, and she focused more on taking Ruth through her education and became the better mother that she was supposed to be in the first place. Auntie D lived in regret for the rest of her life. This taught Auntie D valuable lessons about integrity, hard work, and the importance of making ethical choices. She learned that true success comes from honest efforts and that it is never too late to change one's path. This story teaches us a profound lesson. Taking shortcuts to success, especially those that compromise integrity and moral values, can lead to devastating consequences. True success is achieved through hard work, ethical choices, and a commitment to doing what is right. It reminds us of the importance of prioritizing our loved ones' well-being over material gain and of the irreversible damage that can come from placing money above morality. Let this be a cautionary tale for all. Thank you for watching my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please join us by clicking the subscribe button and turning on notifications so you won't miss out on more meaningful stories. Your support means the world to me. See you in my next video. Take care and stay inspired. Once upon a time, in a small African village wrapped in nature's embrace, lived a man named Kwame. Kwame was well respected in the village, known for his wisdom and kindness. He had a wife as beautiful as the morning sun and a son named Kofi, who was 10 years old. Kofi was the apple of his father's eye, a boy with a smile that could light up the darkest room. The village was surrounded by lush green fields, and the air was always filled with the sounds of chirping birds and distant drums. Every morning, the villagers gathered at the central square to exchange greetings and share news. In this village, where every sunrise brought new stories, Kwame made a big decision. He wanted to marry another wife. His first wife couldn't have more children, and in their village, having a big family was seen as a blessing. So, Kwame talked to his wife about it. She loved him and wanted him to be happy, so with a heavy heart, she agreed. Kwame chose Afia, a woman known for being kind and graceful. The whole village got excited. Kwame's getting married again. They all talked about it. Kofi's mother, even with a storm of mixed feelings brewing inside her, helped with the preparations. She made sure everything was just right, showing her love and respect for Kwame. On the wedding day, the village was full of music and bright colors. Drums sounded loud and strong, and people danced, their feet making patterns in the dirt. Afia looked really beautiful, like a queen, and Kofi's mother stood next to her, trying to hide her worries with a smile. The aroma of freshly prepared dishes, from spicy stews to roasted yams, filled the air as the celebration went on. Afia, the bride, stepped into Kwame's happy home like a gentle breeze. At first, Afia seemed like the kindest person. She smiled a lot, talked softly, and helped around the house. Kofi watched his new stepmother, curious and hopeful. Maybe, just maybe, this change is going to be good, he thought. Afia often joined Kofi and his mother in the evenings as they sat under the big baobab tree in their yard, listening to stories about their ancestors. But life in the village was about to take a turn, like a river that changes its course. Afia's true nature would soon reveal itself, changing the lives of Kwame, his wife, and little Kofi in ways they never expected. And so, in this small village under the vast African sky, the story of Kofi and his stepmother began to unfold. Right after Afia's wedding, everything seemed quiet and peaceful. But this didn't last long. Afia, who had been nice at first, started showing a different side. She wasn't the kind person Kofi and his mother thought she was. Afia's voice changed. Where she used to speak softly, she now spoke in a mean and harsh way, especially to Kofi. Things that used to make her happy now made her angry. Kofi's mother, who always knew what to do, noticed this change. She took Kofi aside one day and said, "Stay away from Afia as much as you can. We don't want any trouble." Kofi didn't really get it. He asked, "Mother, you always tell me Afia is my second mother. Why stay away from her?" His mother, as wise as an owl, just smiled and then repeated, "Just don't get too close to her. Let's keep our peace, please, my son." Kofi didn't really understand, but he trusted his mother. Then a big problem happened. One day, while doing his everyday work, Kofi went to get water. He took Afia's special calabash, a pretty container adorned with intricate carvings. But something bad happened. On his way back, Kofi tripped on a stone he didn't see. The calabash fell and broke. Kofi felt very sad. When he got home, tears in his eyes, holding the broken calabash, Afia got very angry. She shouted a lot, saying things that hurt Kofi deeply. Hearing the noise, Kofi's mother came quickly. She tried to protect Kofi, but Afia was really mad. The home, which used to be full of laughter, now had a lot of anger in it. From then on, Afia became even meaner. She didn't like anything Kofi did and was always finding faults. Kofi, who was once happy and free, became careful and sad. Afia's bad treatment changed him. The people in the village didn't know about the problems in Kwame's house. Life went on as usual for them. But for Kofi, everything felt different. He missed the happy times with his mother's laughter. Those days felt like they were gone forever. In the middle of the village, where every home and tree had its own tale, something very sad happened in Kwame's house. Kofi's mother, who was always so strong and happy for her family, got very sick. The energy and joy she used to bring to their home faded away because of her illness. The village native doctor, a wise old man who knew a lot about plants and old healing ways, was called to help. He brought his bags filled with dried plants and special roots. He said prayers and mixed up his healing drinks. All the people in the village came together, hoping and praying for her to get better, hoping and praying for her to get better. But even with the native doctor's hard work, Kofi's mother got worse. Her bright eyes lost their shine, and the sound of her laughter, which once filled their house, was gone. Kofi felt so sad and helpless watching his mother grow weaker. Then, on a morning when the African sun was shining bright, Kofi's mother passed away. Everyone in the village felt sad for Kwame and Kofi. They cried with them, following their traditions. They held a big funeral with singing and dancing to celebrate her life and send her spirit off to the place of the ancestors. The funeral feast included bowls of steaming rice, fried plantains, and freshly brewed palm wine, a bittersweet moment for everyone. Kofi felt lonelier than ever. Their house, once so warm and full of life, now felt empty and cold. He missed his mother's advice and protection. Without her, Kofi felt even more at the mercy of Afia's mean ways. Kwame was stuck between his sadness and his role as a husband. He didn't like how Afia treated Kofi, but his beliefs and the village's views about having more than one wife made things complicated for him. He knew he needed to do something, but he was torn between his love for his son and his duty as a husband. Afia didn't seem to care about the family's sadness and kept being mean to Kofi. Kofi, who used to be so lively and full of joy, now seemed like just a shadow of himself, always sad. During this time of sorrow and loss, life in the village went on, but for Kofi and Kwame, everything was different. They had to live without the woman who was their strength and light. This loss changed their lives, showing them how quickly happiness could break and how life could change in unexpected ways. Kwame, seeing how tired Kofi was every day, grew worried and asked, "Why does Kofi have to do all this by himself?" But Afia always had excuses. She would say Kofi is just being lazy. He needs to learn to work hard, all while touching her big belly to remind Kwame she was going to have a baby soon. Kwame grew more upset about how Afia treated Kofi. He thought long and hard. Just a few years after Afia gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Kwame decided to marry another wife, as was the custom in their village. And so, Kwame got married again, this time to Amma. Amma was well known in the village for being very beautiful and having a kind heart. When Amma came to live in their house, it was like a cool, calming wind had entered their lives. Kofi, who was still very sad about losing his mother, watched Amma carefully at first. But he soon found that Amma was genuinely nice to him. Amma reminded Kofi of his own mother. She would spend time with Kofi, talk to him, and help him with work around the house. Little by little, Kofi started to feel better, as though Amma was helping him heal from his sadness. Amma even told Kofi stories about her own childhood, making him laugh for the first time in months. But then, things started to change. Amma, who had been so kind, started acting differently. She began treating Afia's little girl badly, just like Afia had treated Kofi before. She would send her on errands in the hot afternoon, make her wash clothes for both her and Kofi, and sometimes even refuse to give her food, telling her to go meet your wicked mother. Amma, who everyone thought was so kind, was now being mean, just like Afia had been. Afia, seeing how her daughter was being treated, felt very upset. She realized this was how she had made Kofi feel. It was hard for her to see her own daughter being treated so badly. She wanted to help her daughter, but didn't know how to make things better for their family. For Kofi, seeing this brought mixed feelings. On one hand, he thought it was fair for Afia to experience what it was like to be treated that way. But on the other hand, he felt sad because he knew how much it hurt to be treated badly, and he didn't like seeing another child go through that.